Hello students, a very good morning to you all. Today we are back again with the revision of globes and maps. Yesterday we learned about the person who proved that the earth was round before 500 years ago. After that we learned about globe. What is a globe? The globe in its uses and how globe is not of much use instead of maps, because maps can be folded easily. Okay, after that we learnt about the types of maps. Okay, today we proceed further with the language of a map. We know certain things about map, such as direction, its scale, and the meaning of various colors and symbols used in it in order to understand the map better. This is why these features are called language of the map. Now, in language of the map, directions. Directions are the most important part of a map. They help us to locate a place easily. Maps are generally drawn with a symbol like N at the top of the map. Now, what is this N? This is the north direction. N indicates the north direction. So it becomes easy for us. If north is given, below that will be south, and east, west, everything can be understood easily. Once you know the north is at the top, it is easy to locate south, okay, which is at the bottom and is opposite to the north. The east is then to the right of the map and west to the left. This is how it becomes easy due to the language of the map, that is directions. Now, between the north and the east lies northeast. I repeat, between the north and the east lies northeast. Between the south and the east, between the south and the east lies southeast. Between the south and the west lies southwest, and between the north and the west lies north. These are sub-directions. I repeat, these are sub-directions. Main four directions are there. How many? Four. That is north, south, east, west. Now these are the sub-directions. Between north and east lies northeast. Between south and east lies southeast. Between north and west lies northwest. Between west and south lies southwest. This is how the sub-directions are bifurcated. If you want, you can draw the directional map on a paper. Directional means only directions. Right north on the top, right south on the bottom. Right to the east, okay, east, then to the left, right, west. Now just see the between these two. That is, you will get a perfect idea about the directions, how it is useful as a language of a map. Moving further, the next important language of a map is scale. Scale word is quite known to you. Why? Because you have used it in maths at times to draw a line of any given measurement. We all know. Okay. Now, the scale. The size and distance between places on a map is shown by a scale. I repeat, the size and distance between places on a map is shown by a scale. A scale is the ratio of the distance between two places on the map to the actual distance between these two places on the ground. Let's suppose, this is example, that the actual distance between Delhi and Jaipur is 100 kilometers. And on the map, the same distance is 1 centimeter. If you look from Jaipur to Delhi, just it is 1 centimeter ahead, okay, showing in the map. Then, according to the scale on the map, 1 centimeter represents 100 kilometer. On such a map, an actual distance of 200 kilometer on the earth will be shown as 2 centimeter. If the place is far off at 400 kilometer, then 4 centimeter. Why? This is the use of the scale. 1 centimeter represents 100 kilometer. Okay, so maps are always drawn to scale. It is not possible to draw actual size on the map. Okay, map is what? Map, we have learned, map is the drawing of the whole or part of the earth's surface on a flat surface such as paper. Now, if on a paper I want to show a whole India, is it possible? So, it is with the help of the scale, the places are located. So, maps are always drawn to scale. Maps are always drawn to scale. The scale is usually mentioned in the corner of the map. Okay, in the corner of the map, scale has to be mentioned, that what is the distance. Now, based on this, many small questions can be asked. Most important direction just now we learned is the north. Directions are the most important. Okay, in that it is, maps are always drawn with symbol at the top N, symbol N. And what is the most important part of the map? Directions. Then, if we talk of scale, what is scale? The size and the distance between places on a map is shown by a scale. And maps are always drawn to scale. Please remember, maps are always drawn to scale. Now, moving ahead, that is legend or key. The legend or the key of a map. The legend or the key of a map explains what the colors and symbols used in the map mean. Colors are used, symbols are used in the map. Okay, they all are called legend or key. They all are called legend or key. It is usually drawn in the box in the corner of the map. All the symbols are drawn. What symbol indicates what? Certain standard colors are there, which are always same. Whether you pick up any map, there are certain standard colors and symbols used to show different features such as oceans, seas, mountains, plains, deserts, cities, roads, railways, etc. There are certain standard colors used. We are going to see it is important to understand these colors and symbols. Why it is important? Because they help us to read the map. Why it is important to understand colors and symbols? I repeat, why it is important to understand colors and symbols? Why? Because they help us to read the map. All maps follow a common scheme of colors. A common scheme of colors is followed in all the maps. Now, let us see the scheme of colors used in the map. I repeat, let us see the scheme of colors, common scheme in all the maps. Blue color. Water bodies such as oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, etc. are shown with blue color. Wherever blue is there, it indicates water bodies. Blue color indicates water bodies. Brown. Hills, mountains and plateaus. I repeat, hills, mountains and plateaus. The northern mountains are represented with brown color in the map. The northern mountains are represented with the brown color on the map. Yellow color. Hot deserts are represented by yellow color. So Rajasthan and a part of Gujarat, where the desert region lies, they are represented with yellow color. I repeat, yellow color is used to represent deserts. We have learned the Great Indian Desert, that is the Thar Desert, okay, in Rajasthan. Next color scheme is white. Cold deserts, snow-covered areas. Wherever there is snow-covered area, it is represented in white color. All snow-covered areas or cold desert. Cold desert means where there are snow and where there is cold due to snow. All those areas are represented by using white color. Then next is the green color. All the plains and the lowlands are represented by green color. Plains is the northern plains. Okay, after northern mountains come the northern plains. So which color is used? Green color. The topmost physical feature, that is northern mountains. For mountains we have used brown color. We got to use brown color. Then for deserts we use yellow color. And for plains we use green color. Which color? Green color. Now we have to remember this. Which color is used for what? So please do not forget. Try to remember. You have to remember. How you will remember? You have to read the chapter again and again and again. Don't read for the sake of reading. Read for understanding. Because understanding is more important than just copying down the exercise and the question answers given to you. Understanding is more important. If you understand well, things will become easier for you. You will be able to answer in your own words. I repeat, if you read the lesson carefully, we are not at all in a hurry. Yesterday also I told you. Take your own time. It is okay if you do work in parts. If you do little writing work today, little tomorrow, it is okay. We are not at all in a hurry. But whatever we write, we understand well and write neatly. Because presentation of work is equally important. Our work has to be as neat as we are. Okay. So it always reflects, our work reflects ourselves. So we have to present things in a very neat manner. Okay. So you have to read and write carefully. Understand. Okay. The symbols are marked on maps. Symbols are marked on maps to show cities, capitals, ports, railways, bridges, roads, airports, hospitals, post office, rivers, boundaries, and many such things. For all these, a different symbol is used. I repeat, for representing all the cities, all the capitals, ports, railways, bridges, roads, Now, if you take a look on page 9 of your textbook, there is a key, that is a legend at the bottom of the page. How airport is represented, small circle and inside there is an aeroplane. Then bridge is represented like a small railway track. Distance between that two lines is very less. After that, church, a square with a plus symbol. Whenever you happen to pass by, or if you have gone to church, you must have seen this symbol of this plus sign. Then all forest represented in green color. Then we have hospitals with a plus sign. You must have seen on doctor's car, doctor's vehicle, or maybe, near the hospital, on ambulances, there is a red plus sign. Okay, that is all denoting hospitals. Okay, then if you have seen post office, there is PO written. If you have ever happened to visit post office, PO is written. Then rivers and everything is shown in blue color. Roads are shown with two lines, that is indicating the road happens to pass by from there. So this is the key which you just got to study. Okay, look carefully which symbol represents what. Okay, now maps also have lines drawn over them to form squares. I repeat, maps also have lines drawn over them to form squares. These squares are called grids. You are very familiar with the word grids. Why? Because in maths there is a grid, that is squares. Each grid has a number which helps us to locate a place easily on a map. I repeat, each grid has a number which helps us to locate a place easily on a map. If you want to see, it is given on page number 8. If you see the 3 different kinds of map, in that look at the political map. I repeat, political map, that is in the center of the page. Between the two maps there is a political map. If you can see, squares are shown. These squares are called grids. These squares are called grids. Each grid has a number. If you can see it is not there in the other two maps. This map you can see there are numbers written. Some number is written over there. Each grid has a number which help us to locate place easily on a map. Now, maps have some advantages over globes. We saw that, no? It was very difficult to carry globe. Then we cannot see everything on the globe at the same time. So, maps have some advantages than globes. So, let us see. They are small and handy. They can be folded and carried easily to different places. Is it possible to fold a map? Fold a globe? No. You have to hold that globe which is spherical in shape. But map, you can fold it and carry it easily to different places. Maps show small areas in great detail, while a globe only shows what the earth actually looks like. I repeat, maps show small areas in great detail, while a globe only shows what the earth actually looks like. So, here I would like to say, you got to read the symbols, observe the key. What are these squares which are formed on the map called? These squares are called grids. Then advantages of maps over globes. Okay. Then A book of maps, I don't know whether you must have seen or not, is Atlas. In Atlas we have maps, maps and maps only, a full book of maps. Okay, it can be a map of India, it can be a map of other countries, it can be a map of world. In that we have all different kinds of maps. You will find thematic maps, you will find political maps, you will find physical maps, all different kinds of maps. So whole book of maps, that is called Atlas. Okay, now certain meanings which you got to read, understand, but reading carefully, take your own time, do not be in a hurry. Okay, so who was the first person to prove that the earth is round? The first person to prove the earth is round was Ferdinand Magellan. A globe is a model of the earth. What is a globe? A globe is a model of the earth. Or what is globe? An object shaped like a ball with a map of the world on its surface. Usually with a stand so that it can be turned. There is a stand, and in the stand there is a rod in the center. What is that rod called? We had discussed. Okay, it is called the axis. That is the imaginary line which is passing through the center of the earth, on which the earth spins. Spin means goes round and round and round. And who is an explorer? We know that Ferdinand Magellan was an explorer, but who is an explorer? Explorer is a person who travels to look for new places and to learn about them. My humble request to you all, do not be in a hurry at all. We will move slowly, but we will see that we complete our work in time and with good handwriting. Please read the chapter again and again and again. Thank you all. Have a nice day.